In this video, we're going to talk about how to solve linear equations as well as rational equations that result in linear equations, and we're also going to do some applications. Here are your steps for solving a linear equation in one variable. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to simplify each side of the equation. That could include using the distributive property or combining like terms or clearing out fractions and decimals, whatever it takes to bring the equation to a variable term and a constant term on the left and a variable term and the constant term on the right. Once you've done that, then you can move on to steps 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is basically collect your variable terms on one side, your constants on the other, then use your multiplication property so that your variable term has a coefficient equal to 1, and then you can go back and check to make sure that your answer is correct by going back to the original equation, and then you can write your solution set. So let's start with some examples. So in this first example, the first step we're going to do is we're going to combine like terms, distributive property, whatever it takes to get a variable term and a constant term on the left, variable and constant on the right. So in this first example, it looks like this. We're going to distribute this 4, and so that's going to give me x plus 4x minus 20 equals 4x minus 8, because I'm also going to distribute over here. Now, you'll notice on the right, I now have my variable term and my constant term taken care of, but I still have some simplifying to do on the left. So I'm going to combine like terms, and I'm going to say that this is x plus 4x is 5x minus 20 equals 4x minus 8. And now I have a constant and a coefficient on each side. Now that I have that, I'm going to do my addition property of equality, which means I'm going to add or subtract something from both sides. So the variables get on one side and your constants on the other. So in this case, I would minus the 4x to move the 4x to the left, and then I would end up with 5 minus 4 is 1x minus 20 equals negative 8. But since I moved my variables to the left, that means I'm going to move my constants to the right. So I'm going to add 20 to each side, and that's going to give me x equals positive 12. Then you can go back and check if you'd like, and you can just substitute directly into the original. 12 plus 4 times 12 minus 5 equals 4 times 12 minus 2, and you can check to see if that is correct. In our next example, we're going to start with distributing again, making sure that we're distributing negative 3, not just positive 3, and negative 5, not just positive 5. So when I distribute, that gives me 2x minus 6x minus 6, because I got to multiply that negative 3 times both terms in the parentheses, equals 1 minus 20x minus 15. So make sure that you're distributing the negative 5. That minus in front makes that a negative. Then we're going to combine like terms. That gives me negative 4x minus 6 on the left. Combining like terms on the right gives me negative 14 minus 20x. Then I've got to decide which way am I going with my variables, which way am I going with my constants. Now we can do this all in one step. I didn't do it in the first example. But for example, I can decide I'm going to move my variables to the left, which means I have to add 20x to both sides. But in that case, I'm going to move my constants to the right, which means I need to add 6 to both sides. It'll save you a step of writing, but you'll still get the correct answer as long as you're careful. Notice my arrows are going in different directions. So negative 4x plus 20x gives me 16x. And then negative 14 plus 6 gives me 8. Then I'm going to use my multiplication property, which also involves division. I'm going to divide by 16 so that my coefficient in front of x is 1. And then 8 over 16 reduces to 1/2. Now you'll notice, I forgot to do it in the first example, but you'll notice we can write our answers as sets by doing set notation, which is the curly brace, put your answer inside, and close it. Over here on example 1, it would be the set of 12 would be my answer.